Melissa Megan show continues. Carney to Tyrell.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Meg Show. We're here with episode 2, and I know it doesn't really seem like episode 2. However, if we're following the order that we do this is technically episode 2. We've got a lot to catch up on. As we have spoken about, we were a little busy as of recently down in Washington, D.C. / Arlington area. So we got a little bit of a catch up to do today. So we're going to dive right in and give you guys a quick kind of recap of the games from not this past weekend, but the one before it. So if you can put that in your head, let's flash back here. This is the weekend of the
This
BC.
was a very important weekend that we missed too.
This was.
It was hard. Our bandwidth was limited. We were very
We were
busy.
stretched. We were stretched.
We were professional athletes for the week.
We were a little busy. So give us some grace here, but we'll fill you in on the things that maybe you missed, maybe you didn't, but here's our takes on them. First one up, we've got Yale versus Michigan. Megan and I had different viewpoints on this game, and Meg came out on top here. Yale wins this game 12-6. They basically came out, put up 6 goals in the first half, and kind of just continued to dominate the rest of the game. They kind of let Michigan come back in a little bit, but Michigan didn't put up a goal in the fourth quarter. So for this Michigan team, you got to be putting up points in that fourth quarter, obviously to be successful here. But Yale, they've got a great team. Karina Herrera, who had a breakout year last year, if we remember her name, she was putting up major points. We've got Fallon Vaughn and Jenna, I apologize for this, Jenna Collignon. We're going to get this. We're going to get this for the next time, I promise. Putting up major points for this Yale team and was able to come out on top against a really, really good Michigan team.
Yeah, I'm still Team Yale all the way through to the end of May. I hope they make the Final Four weekend. Next up, though, we had Boston College Northwestern. As we all know, that was a rematch of the 2024 National Championship. Highly anticipated game, great game, but Boston College did come out on top. They ended up beating Northwestern 13-9, and they also snapped Northwestern's 47-game home win streak. That is impressive. Could have sworn we won at Northwestern, but clearly we never did. I don't know why I thought we did. Did we only beat them in the Dome? And then at Towson?
Maybe. Wow, call me crazy. I thought we beat them on the indoor field.
Right? I thought so too.
Maybe not. I guess we'll have to look back into it.
It's all a blur. Clearly we didn't, because they had a 47-game home win streak.
That is insane. That is a crazy stat.
That's crazy. But BC did snap that. They had 8 different goal scorers for BC, and they also held Northwestern to 0 goals in the first quarter. So that was a rough start for Northwestern. But yeah, Boston College won again.
And I'm sure down the line, we will end up seeing these two teams compete again. So stay tuned for that one and watch the rest of their games too. These are 2 really, really talented teams, offense, defense in the midfield. Great people, great teams to learn from. Looking at our next game, we had Hopkins-Duke. This one kind of surprised me. Hopkins beats Duke in overtime. Hopkins goes up first. They lead 7-4 going into the half. Duke has a huge third quarter, kind of trying to chip away to get back into the game. They end up tying the game. And then I'm sure you've seen this clip all over social media of Ashley Mackin has a highlight reel goal, gives the Blue Jays the win. It was a beautiful goal, really.
It was sick.
It was placed nicely behind her back shovel. Not like behind the back, but backwards shovel.
Backhanded.
Yeah, it was really nice. But I kind of thought Hopkins was going to pull away with this game. I didn't see Duke kind of chipping away at them, but props to Duke for coming back into this game. And congrats, Ashley Mackin. That goal was beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. That goal was sweet. Definitely agree. I thought Hopkins would have been able to handle them pretty well. I did think Hopkins was going to win, but yeah, I didn't think it would go to overtime. Next up that weekend, we had Syracuse beating Maryland at Maryland. Syracuse won 15-9. Great win for Syracuse, a top 10 win as well. Emma Ward had a few highlight plays also. She had a behind-the-back goal posted up at the 5x5, then also had a behind the back assist to a behind the back goal. So that was fun to watch them
Woo.
play. Emma Ward did finish the day with 7 points. She had 3 goals, 4 assists. Olivia Adamson scored a team high 4 goals. And then Caroline Trinkus, a freshman, had her first career hat trick. She is on fire right now. She's doing great. Props to her. And then goalie for Syracuse, Dan Guyette, made a career high 11 saves in her second career start. So she's standing strong in cage.
It's a good feeling to beat the Terps and then to do it on their home field too.
For
so
sure.
Congrats to the Cuse girls. And then our last game that we were watching was UNC versus Florida. This was poised to be a great game. It ended up being a great game. UNC did pull away, ended up winning 14-9. UNC went up in that first half. They ended up going up 7-4 as they were going into halftime. And for this UNC team, we are seeing I don't even want to call them the usual suspects because they're just very good, but these names that you will be seeing for the rest of the season. We've got Marissa White, Caroline Godin, Chloe Humphrey, and Ashley Humphrey. The Humphrey sisters are arguably unstoppable down in this offensive end. They're putting up major points for UNC, and especially in this game. And if you remember us previously speaking, there was another highlight transition goal by none other than Brooklyn Walker-Welsh. She's coming off of an injury from last season, missing last season, and is playing absolutely phenomenal. She had such a great cause turnover, bringing it down the field to score her own goal. I'd be out of breath, but she did it effortlessly, it looked like. So congrats, UNC. This UNC team is definitely a team to be watching out for the rest of the season.
For sure. With that being said, we will jump to this past weekend.
Click it in.
Of also another great round of games to go off of, or to continue talking about UNC. We will go into the UNC Syracuse game, which was down at Chapel Hill. Syracuse did win 16-8. Tough game for the Orange. Couldn't really put up much of a fight. UNC started off hot with 8 goals in the first quarter, so they were ready to go, firing away. They also had 8 different goal scorers throughout the game. A few hat tricks, and then everyone else sort of at 2 and a few at 1. Chloe Humphrey, however, had 2 goals on 12 shots, so she needs to put in some extra work. Just kidding. We all have those days.
Been there.
A few times. But yeah, so that's just one thing that caught my eye looking after watching that game. Emma Ward, again, we will be saying her name a lot this season, led the Orange with 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. And then also something that I saw when just like looking back through the box score of the game, UNC took 51 shots, which is crazy. Syracuse took 27, which is a pretty average amount of shots to take. But yeah, UNC was firing away. Good for them. Shoot early, shoot often. The more you shoot, the more chances you have to score. So
true.
Their program record, fun fact, their program record for shots in a game is 52. So they were 1 away from that.
So close, guys. Next time.
Ashley Humphrey, one of the other Humphrey sisters, did lead with 5 points. She had 2 goals, 3 assists. Carolina improves to 13-9 with the series with Syracuse. They're 6-2 at home, so don't have much luck there for the Orange.
Something about playing in North Carolina, that field.
Also, another fun fact, a few fun facts here, actually. Chloe Humphrey has scored UNC's first goal of the game in 4 straight games now.
Someone mark up on her from the first whistle.
And then we had Osborne, who had a hat trick, and that was the first of her career.
Congrats.
She had a career high of 4 points, so she's getting in the mix. Syracuse did lead the turnovers, 15. UNC had 9. We don't like to lead that stat. And then UNC dominated on the draw controls, 18-9. Meg Road could not get into much of a groove, and I'm sure, as everyone saw, Olivia Adamson was not dressed that game. But yeah, so that's it for the Syracuse UNC recap.
Yeah, it's never fun to end up leading in turnovers. Obviously, trying to keep those as minimal as possible, but 15-9, those are kind of high numbers, I'd say, on both sides. You want to have under 10, right? So UNC kind of won that there. This next game, whoa. Stanford, hello, welcome. Stanford upsets Virginia 13-7.
I love that. Well, like, nothing against Virginia. I just love to see Stanford, like, getting in the mix and doing well.
I completely get what you're saying. This game I did not see turning out this way. However, when you've got people like Aaliyah Pulisic and Jordan Case on your offense, we shouldn't be so shocked. For this game, both teams kind of started off slightly slow. Stanford kind of took the lead in the second, where UVA was able to climb their way back in a little bit, tied in the third, but from there on out, it was Stanford. For Stanford, they have earned their highest ranked win in nearly a decade and its first ACC win. Congratulations, Stanford. This is huge. And as I mentioned before, we have Aaliyah Pulisic and Jordan Case. Both of them putting up big numbers here. Both of them put up 4 goals, 1 assist here for Jordan Case. And Jordan Case actually just won Player of the Week. I saw that on social media.
Yeah.
Very well deserved. For this Virginia team, this is a bounce back. It's still early. You can get back into this. I'm excited to see what they kind of do. Virginia kind of had a tough day. Putting up under 10 points is against a ranked team. It's kind of hard to win that battle, but close game for these people, and good job, Stanford. I'm really, really happy for them.
That was Stanford's first ACC win.
Yeah.
Highest ranked win in nearly a decade, and its first win in the ACC conference since they are new this season, for those that do not know.
Yes, that was a good point to add. Welcome.
Welcome, and nice little statement.
And way to go. Huge.
Yeah, they can hang. Next, we had unranked Liberty beating number 19 Richmond. I love that. Great for Liberty. That's just a huge win for the program. They were, I'm going to mess up this name, Tavia Reinerson and Olivia Young had 4 goals apiece. They had a bunch of other different goal scorers. Looks like 6 total, which is huge to see that they have that many girls that can be a threat on offense and put the ball in the back of the net. That just helps so much make a team just more of a threat and more dynamic. This is their second ranked win all time in program history. First ever win over Richmond. That series was previously 0-11. Now it is 1-11. But yeah, huge program, historical win for Liberty. And just excited to see that program on the up and coming. Richmond only had 5 saves. Liberty had 12. Richmond did win the draw controls 20-11. And you know what we say, you win the draw, you win the game. But we also say that doesn't always happen. But other than that, huge win for Liberty. Great to see that for the program. A few other girls, Colleen Quinn and Grace Muldoon, had 5 points each. And then goalkeeper Rachel Hines made her final save of the game at the 2-minute mark, which helped Liberty gain the possession, ran out the possession clock. Richmond called a timeout and then had to face the length of the field with 25 seconds remaining. Liberty really leaned in on its defense, locked down, and had some big saves in the fourth quarter to help them come out on top.
Yeah, it's always I don't like to say the word fun, but it's so much fun seeing teams kind of pop in and come up with these big wins, especially early in the season too. So congrats to Liberty. That's so huge. Excited to see what both these teams are kind of doing moving forward. Another overtime win here for Hopkins. Another close game. Hopkins ranked at 10, just gets by Penn, who is ranked at 12, 15-14. This game also was an OT. Hopkins kind of back-to-back here with these OT games.
Hey,
trying to,
if they can win an OT,
making people nervous.
Matter.
Penn's Anna Brandt, she had 7 goals to lead both offenses. And in the fourth quarter here, the game was pretty much equal throughout the majority of it. And like the fourth quarter with under 5 remaining, Hopkins went on a quick 2-goal lead here, bringing them up to 15, where they ended up winning the game with that. Penn was able to come back in with 1 more goal in those last 4 minutes, but just wasn't enough to kind of get over Hopkins. But shout out Anna Brandt leading that charge with 7 goals. That's huge. And congrats, Hopkins. You're making everybody else nervous, but you're keeping us entertained, which is fantastic.
Yes, of course. Great win by Hopkins. Just great game overall, especially their other overtime winner. But hey, they're good in clutch time, clearly. So don't take Hopkins to overtime. You might lose. Next, we had number 17 Clemson, who upset number 11 Notre Dame. Clemson, also on the newer side of a program, also in the ACC, had a big, huge conference program win for them, upsetting Notre Dame at Notre Dame too at the indoor field, which isn't great. But Clemson won 12-11. The goals throughout the period, the breakout was sort of even all the way. It was pretty consistent between 3, 2, or 4 each. Both teams had multiple different goal scorers. Clemson had one with a hat trick, and Notre Dame had one with a hat trick. Everyone else had 2 or 1 apiece. Notre Dame did win the draw control battle 16-8. Like I said earlier, if you win the draw, you win the game. But I also say that doesn't always happen. And then a few other fun facts about this game. Clemson, this is their highest ranked win in program history. They are on the newer side of a program, but huge ranked win for them nonetheless. Natalie Shurtleff led the Tigers in goals, scored, and total points. 7 of Clemson's 12 goals came from free possession shots, which is such an interesting stat to look at. Clemson is clearly automatic on the free position line, and for those that are playing them in this upcoming games this season, keep them off the 8-meter because they clearly will put the ball in the back of the net. And then their goalie, Clemson's goalie, also recorded double-digit saves and has a save rate of 47.6%. Clemson is rolling.
Absolutely love this for Clemson. I love this look. I think this is fantastic. Not easy to go into Notre Dame and come out with a win. So congrats to them. And then just 2 other games that kind of caught our eye, but we weren't really specifically kind of watching. Virginia Tech beat Pitt by 1, where if you think back to previous years, so we're putting our brain back into brain mode here. If we think back to previous years, Virginia Tech has a history of kind of putting up points against Pitt. So to look at this game and see that Virginia Tech only beats them by 1, this is great for Pitt. They're making stops, they're making saves, they're putting up points. But Virginia Tech, you kind of got to wonder where that shift is happening on offense, or is it in the draw? Kind of things to think about. And then another game that caught my eye was Rider versus URI. Rider beats URI by 1. The reason that this is significant is URI is a first-year program. First-year program showing up, keeping a close game against a team that they're seeing for the first time that is probably kind of around where they're going to end up climbing to before obviously they get to the next steps. So kind of seeing that for URI was fantastic. I have friends that have went to URI, so the fact that they have a lacrosse program and they're putting up a close game like this is awesome. So I'm excited to kind of see where this team grows throughout the season and in their future.
Few others from Sunday. Those are all Saturday games. So a few others on Sunday. We had Harvard upsetting number 15 Navy, which is another huge win. So many great upsets this past weekend.
I know.
And like new programs getting in the mix. Love to see that, just making statement wins. I think it's just great for the sport of lacrosse in general. But that game was pretty consistent as well in terms of goals scored throughout the breakout of the periods. 4, 4, 4, 3, 1, 2, 2, and then Navy could not put the ball in the back of the net in the fourth quarter, which definitely hurt them there at the end of the game. Even across team statistics for shots, both at 30. Turnovers, Navy had 15, Harvard had 10. Definitely want to aim to get that stat to 10 or less. Harvard led with caused turnovers with 11, and Navy had 7. So that's awesome for their defenders for getting 11 caused turnovers. That's huge. Navy, guys, again, wow, I'm 0-3. Navy led the draw control 15-7. And if you win the draw, you win the game, but you also don't win the game even if you win the draw. And then, so team statistics could have gone either way. But Harvard came out on top with an upset win there. So huge win for them.
Yeah, definitely a huge win for them. Not the only huge Harvard win that we saw this past weekend. Harvard also came out on top against top-ranked Syracuse men's team.
Yeah, which, in the Dome, too.
In the Dome, which was, if you didn't watch, it was really exciting for Harvard. I was happy for them. And then the other game that we were watching was Princeton versus Loyola. Princeton with the upset against Loyola, Princeton won 16-14. This game was also pretty evenly scored across all 4 quarters. Princeton was able to put up more points in the second and fourth quarters there.
I've been saying periods this whole time. And it's definitely quarters.
I didn't even recognize that.
Wow.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah, for sure I've been saying periods, not quarters. Oh, shoot. Oh, well. Sorry, guys. Brain is not working. It's late.
That's so funny. Well, they are called quarters,
Mm-hmm.
just in case anyone's confused. But yeah, Princeton was able to put up more points in the second and the fourth, which ultimately led to their win. Huge win for Princeton. I think like Princeton, Loyola, Virginia, I'm watching all these teams, I'm watching all these games. They can kind of go any way here, which we love. We love to have competitive games in conference, out of conference. So to see a bunch of these teams kind of come in with these upsets this past week has been so awesome to watch, so great for the sport, and congrats to all the athletes, coaches, schools. This is so great.
Sweet. That wraps it up for our recaps of 2 weekends ago and last weekend. We had a lot to make up there. A lot of great games, though, so we could not leave those out. We will dive into this week's rankings. Meg, any thoughts or hot takes?
No, I think, for the past few episodes, I've felt that the rankings are doing a good job. I like BC at 1 here. So just looking at this one, this is the USA Lacrosse Magazine ranking. They've got BC at 1, UNC at 2, Northwestern at 3. I think those are very fitting. I like Yale at 4. I like Florida at 5, Syracuse 6, Stanford 7. These are good looks. Michigan, Virginia, and Maryland kind of round out that top 10. I think all those teams make sense in there for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think they all belong in the top 10, give or take 1 or 2 spots, but I think that's a great ranking.
What do you think about Ohio State in the top 20? I kind of think they should be a little higher.
You think higher?
I think so.
Right
now they're ranked at 19. I feel like you could easily put them at 16. I'll say it.
And who do you think they should flop with? Like Clemson, maybe Notre Dame?
I mean, if we're going based on this past week, I think you drop Notre Dame and JMU.
Yeah, JMU too. Interesting. I mean, they beat Denver. They beat Louisville. They beat Vanderbilt. That's it. I don't think they have I personally actually don't think they should even be that high.
Gasp.
They don't have a good.
You got to think about it, though. Denver was ranked high coming into the season, given it's a new season. I get it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I like it.
I think they're fine at 19. Well, Inside Lacrosse has them at 20. Okay.
Okay, so that's kind of consistent, I'd say.
Interesting. What else is? I think Harvard could be a little bit higher.
I was thinking Harvard could go a little higher too. I agree. But this is a competitive top 20. Yeah. I'll tell you.
And so many new teams. So many new teams. I love it.
I know.
But yeah, definitely competitive. These could go one or the other.
And you know what? We have all season to find out, which is so exciting. We've got so many more weeks left to talk to you guys and yell about rankings and where we think people belong. You know, who cares?
No one asked for our opinion.
No one asked, sure. But we're going to tell you guys anyways.
With that being said, we will take a look at some upcoming games. Today is Tuesday that Meg and I are recording this, just by the way, so as we're talking about it. So as today, earlier today, Northwestern played Syracuse. So that game is already over with. Northwestern won. Syracuse just couldn't really quite figure it out in time. I think they had a rough first quarter. Not to dive into another game, we already went over 20. But we just watched it 2 hours ago.
We can recap it next week too.
Yeah, we could.
This counts, so we can save our thoughts.
Yeah.
We
Okay.
did go over like 10 games. So.
Spoiler. So
Spoiler alert.
Wednesday, tomorrow, when you guys are listening to this podcast, as soon as it drops, we have JMU versus Richmond, UVA versus Navy, Harvard versus UConn. I didn't say the rankings, sorry, but those are all ranked games. So watch them. Friday, we have 20 Duke versus number 11 Notre Dame, number 4 Syracuse versus number 17 Clemson, 14 Stony Brook versus 10 Hopkins, and 8 Michigan versus 12 Penn. Another full slate of amazing games.
How lucky are we that all of these teams get to play each other?
We're literally so lucky.
We are so lucky. So much good lacrosse. So I'm so excited for Michigan Penn. I think that game's gonna be fantastic. Q's Clemson. Excited for that one too.
That's at Clemson too, I think.
I think it is as well.
Yeah, I'm excited. I want to be excited for UVA versus Navy, but I think UVA will handle them. Harvard versus UConn, I think Harvard will win. Duke Notre Dame should win.
They gotta wait for the graphic.
So true. Spoiling it.
Actually, the graphic has to go out. Never mind. Okay, guys. Look, these are all weekday games. How exciting is that? You don't get to be bored the rest of the week. You have so many things to look forward to. Tune in on Friday. We're getting some great multi-conference games here, which is fantastic. We've got ACC, American East. Oh, Stony Brook's not in the American East anymore.
Nope. They're in the...
Got Big Ten, Ivy.
What conference is Stony Brook in?
AAC.
CAA.
Oh, is it CAA?
I think so. I really just pulled that out of my...
Well, because, yeah, they're in JMU's conference, right? Sorry, guys. I'm doing research right now.
Literally typing in my computer. You can probably hear it. Oh, I don't know what I just clicked.
Perfect.
Stony Brook is in the CAA. I have actually no idea.
What?
Standings. There we go. Yes, they're in the CAA, along with Hofstra, Towson, Delaware, Drexel, Elon, Campbell, William and Mary, and Monmouth.
Okay.
What an
Thank
interesting
you.
conference.
I know. I have to agree with that. That is an interesting conference.
That's such a strange mix.
Honestly, the shift around of conferences has been interesting, not just even in lacrosse, but just in general.
Yeah. Like Cal and Stanford being in the ACC.
It's a lot of travel for them if you think about it logistically. But more than happy to have them. More than happy to have them. It's great lacrosse, great teams, great competition, and for us, great things to watch. So
so easy to watch on ACC and ESPN. So I appreciate
so
that.
Accessible. And guys, it's time for the best part of the episode. I know you've missed these. I know you have. You don't have to say it. I know. The questions. You guys, you've asked questions, and now we get to answer them. So one of them, just to start off, was, are you playing for the WLL? Yes, we did.
We did.
We were there. We were out there. We were running around, and it was so much fun. We played for the New York Charging. Fortunately, made it to the championship game. How exciting. First ever. Unfortunately, we also lost the first ever to the Boston Guard. There were so many talented athletes there. It made playing lacrosse really, really, really fun. And I think it's fun. Yeah.
Like, just so fun.
It was. I feel like you're making fun of me, but it was.
No, I'm like being so genuine. Like, there's no better word to describe it other than fun. Like, that was the most fun I've had playing lacrosse in a while.
Yeah. The league itself, you're surrounded by all these talented players who have great lacrosse IQ, which is such a blessing to be around. Great lacrosse IQ. If you are somebody who plays lacrosse, you are in college, you're in middle school, you're just picking up a stick, train your lacrosse IQ, build your lacrosse IQ, and you can do this by watching other people, see how they play. almost try to mimic what they do. But when they make good plays, even sometimes bad ones happen, right? But mimic what they do or try to, and you will build your lacrosse IQ and you will become a fantastic player.
And also just like another, like, to build your lacrosse IQ, like, yes, your own personal lacrosse IQ, but also like gameplay, like gamesmanship.
Learn
and, like,
the game. Learn
how,
the game.
like, fast breaks, transitions, rides, clears, like that all is IQ. Man up, man down, like that's all IQ, which you can learn from watching.
Exactly. So that wasn't even a question. That's just some advice. That's just something that we've picked up on throughout our years. But so yes, we did play for the WL. Great experience. Thank you, WL, Maybelline, for setting it all up. We had a great time.
What was your favorite memory of the WLL?
Oh my goodness.
Definitely the Maybelline Glam.
It could have been, honestly. You guys, they had this, I don't know, if you saw it on social media or you didn't, they had this Maybelline Glam van. I feel like that's
Like
the right
RV.
word. RV, yeah. It's like, so you walked in the van, and inside the spacing, they had these countertops with all this makeup on it. They had these chairs in there, these makeup artists in there. They welcomed us in. We sat down. They asked, "What kind of makeup do you want?" And then they just went to town, and everyone looked beautiful. They looked
Yeah,
fantastic.
it was
They did a
fun.
really good job.
Definitely like something different. You don't see that often. So it was just a cool little experience. I wouldn't necessarily say that was my favorite. It was great. I think my favorite part was two. They kind of go hand in hand. One was how there was like very little preparation leading up to it. Like, I like how we all got there. There's no like scouting beforehand, no practices
Just
beforehand.
played, yeah.
You got there, you didn't like meet each other because you all sort of like already know each other. You had a few practices and then you jumped in and started playing games. You sort of just had to learn how to mesh on the fly and learn how to work with each other. And to go off of that, I loved playing with girls from other schools, like Northwestern. Oh my God. Northwestern. Kylie, I loved playing with her and just like listening to her and watching her like talk about the game and like things that are going on throughout the game. She's very wise. Belle, obviously from BC, but it was so fun to play with the Northwestern girls and just like we play against them all the time in college, and now to play with them was cool.
Yeah, it definitely gives you, it's so like we were talking about with lacrosse IQ, getting their perspective on, how they see things on the field, how everyone else see things on the field. It's just so, all of that brain power on one team is just so much fun. And that also occurs across all the teams, right? We have all these talented players on each team. So I guess, yeah, those were probably favorite
Moral of the
memories.
story, it was fun. So fun.
Yeah, moral of the story, great event. And then also shout out to the fans who came. These games were sold out. The crowd was so, so, so loud. And it just amplified the event. I thought it was great. We got to meet so many of you guys, sign things, take pictures, trade bracelets. Oh my goodness, the Meg Show bracelet.
Oh my God, the Meg Show bracelet.
These three girls, I have to find it and take photos over there. These three girls came up to us and gave us a Meg Show like friendship bracelet that they made. So if you are listening to this, thank you very much. We loved it. And I'm now in possession of it. Megan doesn't have it.
Yeah.
But
There's two, right? One broke.
one broke, sadly.
Yeah.
But we do have them. Thank you guys. And thank you everyone who came out. Family, friends, support. You guys were more than we could have asked for.
Awesome. Last question we'll go with. Let's do, what was your guys' recruiting process like, and do you have any advice for girls going through it now?
Yeah, so I feel like maybe we touched on this in our last season of our podcast of what recruiting looked like. So for Meg and I, recruiting looked similar but very different from what you guys are experiencing right now. We were recruited very young. We didn't have to wait until junior year to be in contact with coaches, really. So throughout that process, I feel like we were using like club coaches or high school coaches and kind of going through college coaches that way. And it would be like, oh, this coach is interested in you. come to this camp. This coach would like to see you on campus, kind of stuff like that. Nothing that would be considered illegal, I don't believe.
Mm-hmm.
So for any girls going through it now, just because of the restriction on when you can talk to coaches, I think a big thing that people are really using these days that I didn't really use when I was younger is game film or a highlight reel, kind of putting together those clips either from fall ball games, high school games, summer games when you're traveling with your club, or if you're, like I said, high school games, whatever you need to do, get those clips to yourself and kind of build a good profile. Because I know there's platforms that coaches do use to look at potential players that they'd want to recruit. So I think as far as recruiting, that would be part of my advice, would be to get a good film, get a good highlight reel, and make sure you keep it updated too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think that's covers it all. Now that I'm thinking about this, I don't know if I'm allowed to answer this question or not.
Megan won't be answering this question, but
I will say I will plug the WLL and come to we're going to have 2 recruiting showcases for the WLL this summer. College coaches will be there. The pros will be there. One's in Maryland, one's in Boston.
Great
Make it to one of
locations.
them. Easy to get to. We'll have New York in the fall/winter as well as California. But yeah, get to one of those this summer. There'll be college coaches there, top ones too. So that's all I'll say on that topic.
Yeah, so for advice, have a good highlight reel, get some good film, email coaches, reach out, let them know who you are, let them know you're interested. Even if they can't respond to you, it's in their inbox. So no harm, no foul in putting something out there. And then just make sure you're working on your craft, right? So if you are a midfielder, like you're making sure your transition game is great, or you're on attack and you want to make sure you're getting those good inside shots or outside rips, and defense, working on footwork, stuff like that, goalies, hand-eye coordination. If you know your position, you know what you need to do to be better. And make sure you also watch, right? Like we were saying, watch other girls, watch other athletes, either in college or even in high school, or someone you look up to, watch their game.
Cool.
But that is all for this week's episode. We will have another episode next week. Don't worry, we'll be back. Thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to submit questions to us so we can talk to them, give you our opinions on stuff, because you actually do ask for it when you ask questions. So you will get it from us.
I love the questions. The questions are fun. I love seeing what people want to know. Yeah. Also, the Meg Show's hiring, remember?
Oh my goodness.
Guys, I want to hire February through end of May Meg Show intern. It will be unpaid.
We may
potentially paid. Maybe.
We may be releasing something. We make no promises.
Your girls are busy. Could use some extra help. It's very low maintenance, very simple, but great for the resume. So if you are a loyal listener and you listen to the very end of our podcast,
you'll hear this, I guess.
You're lucky. You're lucky then because you heard this. And if you're interested, DM us. I don't know.
Our email's also in our bio. Yeah. But thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week for The Meg Show.